Hi, this is Mato. Welcome to my online chess lecture. In this video I will show you a game between Magnus Carlsen and Hikaru Nakamura. This is a game from Magnus Carlsen Invitational Rapid Tournament 2020. Carlsen had white pieces and he started with d4. Nakamura played knight to f6, c4, e6, knight to f3, d5, the queen's gambit, knight to c3, bishop to e7, bishop to f4, castling, e3, knight from b to d7, white to move, c5 and queen to c2 are the two most played moves. Carlsen played bishop to e2, d takes on c4. Carlsen castled kingside, c5, d takes on c5, bishop takes on c5, bishop takes on c4, a6. Interestingly, white is slightly ahead in the development. How relevant is that? White to move. Knight to g5 was played. Is Carlsen provoking h6 or something? Nakamura continued as planned with b5, intending bishop to b7, also attacking the bishop on c4. What is the best square for the bishop? What would you do? Perhaps some players would play bishop to d3. Do you agree? Carlsen played bishop takes on e6, pawn takes bishop, knight takes on e6, forking the queen and the rook, queen to e7, knight takes rook, queen takes rook. For his two pieces, Carlsen got a rook and two pawns. Knight to e4, attacking the bishop. Perhaps bishop to e7 comes to mind. Instead, Nakamura opted for development with bishop to b7, knight takes on c5, queen takes on c5, rook to c1, attacking the queen, queen to d5, offering to trade queens. Maybe black is also threatening to take the pawn on a2. And should we mention, there is a minor threat, queen takes on g2. f3 was played, queen takes on a2, attacking the pawn. How to defend the pawn? Instead of defending the pawn, e4. Black to move. Should black take the free pawn or not? Would you? Nakamura played knight to f8. Let's take it back. The pawn is not for free. If queen takes pawn, then rook to c7 is unpleasant. Back to our game. e4, knight to f8, rook to f2, rook to c8, rook takes rook, bishop takes rook, queen to d8, queen to e6, bishop to d6, threatening to take on f8, queen to e8, queen takes queen, knight takes queen, bishop to b4. And we have reached an interesting endgame. Black has two knights against white rook and a pawn. And of course, there are opposite color bishops on the board. Knight to e6, rook to d2, king to f7, king to f2, knight to f6, king to e3. White has a stronger influence in the center. g5, perhaps intending knight to f4. g3 was expected. Rook to d6 was played. Bishop to c3 is also a good move, if knight to h5, g3. Back to our game, rook to d6, knight to d7, g3, knight to e5, b3. It is interesting how Carlsen prevented black knights from jumping around the board. h5, h4, g takes on h4, g takes on h4, knight to g6, attacking the pawn on h4, defending, a5, offering to trade pawns, white to move, rook to d5 was played. White can even play bishop takes on a5, and after knight takes on h4, then rook to d5. Of course, the move that Carlsen played is even better. Back to our game. Rook to d5, a4, rook takes on h5, Knight from E to F4. Let's take it back. If A takes on B3, rook takes on B5. The less pawns on the board, the more powerful the rook gets. Let's go back. How about A3? Then rook to F5, check. And if king goes to E7, H5. If A2, then bishop to C3. If knight from G to F4, rook takes on B5. Again, white is better. Back to our game. Nakamura played knight from E to F4, rook to G5, A takes on B3, H5, knight to F8. If the pawn is pushed, then check, and after knight takes on G6, rook takes on B5, winning. Knight to F8, bishop to C3, B4, bishop to B2, blocking the pawns, and from that point, white bishop has strong influence on the king's side. Knight from 8 to E6, rook to F5, check, king to G8, white to move. How would you continue? To simplify the things into a winning endgame, Carlsen played rook takes knight. Knight takes rook, king takes knight, black to move. The poor, light square bishop was waiting for his moment for too long. Bishop to A6, king to G5, white is winning. Bishop to D3, white to move. There is more than one way to win. King to G6 was played. The other way was H6, and after king to H7, E5, and a bishop to C4, F4, bishop to G8, F5, and so on. Back to our game. King to G6 was played. Bishop to B5, F4, bishop to E8, check, king to G5, bishop to C6, E5, bishop to D5, F5, king to H7, E6, bishop to C4, king to F6, bishop to E2, white to move. How to defend the pawn on H5. White played a move and black resigned, and the move is king to E7. Nakamura resigned in view of discontinuation. Bishop takes on H5. F6, king to G8, F7. Bishop takes on F7. Pawn takes bishop check. And when king moves, pawn to E8. Queen. And I guess we can stop here. This was a very powerful performance by Magnus Carlsen. What do you think of this game? And that is all. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I wish you good luck with your chess, and bye for now.